Moulton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. There's bipartisan agreement on this committee that our incoming threat detection is not perfect, but I detected a circuitous and vague insult on my intelligence in the previous remarks. And I would just point out to the gentleman from Wisconsin, whether he's a gentleman or not, that the only person who voted against the formation of the Space Force on this committee was Republican. Lieutenant General Gainey, your air defenders saved thousands and thousands of lives in the Middle East. I disagree with the war, but I honor and praise the service of our air defenders and want our allies and the American people to appreciate that. Just give us an idea. I mean, approximately how many installations and cities are you currently protecting with Patriot and THAAD batteries?
Ranking Member Moulton, thank you for that question. I'm extremely proud of our air defenders currently deployed in the CENTCOM AOR. Our 32nd team are covering dozens of locations, facilities, and some of that covers some of the city out there. And the way that they are fighting this fight, you know, we have teenagers out of high school and officers out of college sitting in that van day in and day night fighting a complex threat out there and are doing magnificently doing. Not only that, we are rapidly reducing data and innovating in real time to be able to get after some of these complex threats that we thought we wouldn't have been able to do.
And that's fantastic. I mean, this is the most complex air defense fight that the U.S. has faced, and you can see the pride that you have in your soldiers, which I appreciate. Protecting dozens of installations across the Middle East. General Gutlein, how many American cities are currently protected by Patriot or THAAD batteries?
Today there are none.
Today there are none. So we're protecting dozens of installations in cities in the Middle East, but we're not protecting any American cities with these assets. Does that concern you?
Congressman, I'm very concerned about the Homeland Defense equation. We are vulnerable to a numerous array of threats that Golden Dome is being designed to get after. We have traditionally focused on the intercontinental ballistic missile threat and have not really thought enough about the cruise missile, the hypersonic missile, the ballistic missiles from air or from sea, nor now what we're seeing the expanding counter-UAS threats. So we do need to expand our defense equation.
I totally agree. But if Golden Dome is such a priority, then why are we expending so many Patriot and THAAD missiles at millions of dollars a copy in the Middle East when we have not a single American city, not even the capital city of Washington, D.C., protected here at home?
Congressman, we are changing the defense equation of the Homeland to get after those threats. Traditionally, we relied on
Well, I'm just saying, like, we didn't have to start this war. So if we wanted to change this equation and it was so urgent, then why are we not putting these batteries here at home rather than starting a war of choice in the Middle East? It's eating up so much of our inventory.
Congressman, my focus is on Homeland Defense. I cannot answer to the overseas conflict.
Okay. Mr. Berkowitz, in General Gutlein's opening statement, he makes a policy assertion that Golden Dome forces our adversaries to question whether an attack could ever succeed, making them less likely to threaten or attack the United States in the first place. How have we seen that theory either sort of supported by current events in Iran? I mean, we just heard from Lieutenant General Gainey that we're literally protecting dozens of installations and cities with our missile defense assets, which notably are not protecting American cities here at home. But Iran has just shot more drones and ballistic missiles at us and our Gulf allies than they ever have before. So it just seems like this basic theory of deterrence is not working with the current conflict.
Deterrence occurs in the cognitive domain. It's a psychological phenomena in the minds of our adversaries. I think we're talking about a regime that may be beyond deterrence. They have, for decades, pursued nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles. Successive administrations have engaged them.
And yet they weren't projecting power the way they are now until we started this war. And my point is more focused just on, I don't disagree with what you said, that's a fine comment, but my point is more focused on the basic theory of deterrence with Golden Dome, which says that if we have a robust missile defense, our adversaries won't attack us. And by the way, part of the rationale given for this war was that at some time in the future, the president said in a matter of days, although our own intelligence community has said it's more like a decade, Iran will have the capability of shooting ballistic missiles at the United States. But that basic theory seems blown out of the water by our current experience, which is that we have incredibly robust missile defense across the Middle East. We've been singing its praises in a very bipartisan way, and yet it has not stopped Iran in the least from shooting a lot of missiles and drones at us and our allies,
well,
which to
the claim that United States cannot be coming under attack by Iran or any country like Iran with that kind of ballistic missile capabilities is a complete joke. It is absolutely false. It's a myth. The reality of it is that they can hit United States, any city in the States. In fact, right now we have Turkey, who unveiled their ballistic missile, intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, and more countries are going to follow suit with Turkey, and they're going to have those ICBM at their arsenal, because these days the biggest danger that this whole world, all the countries in the world face, is not from anybody else other than United States and also Israel.
To the basic, which also, to the point is that missile defense is not perfect, has ended the lives of several Americans. And so I think we should just be asking more questions. I'm unfortunately out of time, but Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Mr. Chairman, is it possible for me to...
So again, I mean, this whole military industrial complex in the States, I do not know what their ambition is, what their goal is just to make money or to defend and protect the United States or its allies in the Middle East. But looks like to me so far they were just busy making more and more money, more and more profit, instead of helping each other or serving each other. That's the new reality of it right now.
To respond?
Feel free to respond, sir.
Mr. Moulton, I just wanted to complete my thought, which was deterrence is in the adversary's mind, and in this case, they have not been deterred at all. They have been killing American citizens for the better part of 40 years through a variety of means, not just through ballistic missiles, but through a variety of
Have they ever killed
modalities.
Americans by ballistic missiles before?
They have not, but they've used many other tools.
And I agree. And I've seen Americans personally killed by Iranians. So I think I understand this threat in a pretty real way. I've been there on the ground in Iraq, seeing Marines killed by Iranians. So I get that. I want to defeat them. I want to win. I would like to be buying more interceptors. I would also like to prevent a war in the Pacific. What I don't want to be doing is getting bogged down in a war in the Middle East that we're losing, while also spending hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars here at home on a theory of deterrence that seems pretty shaky. And if the hope is that what didn't work against the Iranians will work against Putin, that kind of hope is not a good strategy, at least in my mind. But I appreciate the conversation and look forward to continuing.
Of course not. If you're dealing with Russia, that's a totally different ballgame. But even with Iran, it is becoming almost impossible for the United States to gain any ground, any success on the battlefield. Yes, you can annihilate a civilization, as Donald Trump said, but you cannot. When winning a war is a completely different story. United States is not prepared, even though it looks like very mighty, very powerful, protected 100% militarily by its own, but the reality is totally different. Subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.